This is our news, the weekend edition. And on the broadcast tonight, just shy of a week into the phased reopening of the country's #1 sector, and the tourism minister provides an update. Plus, the acting labor director speaks on the need of diversification of the country's industries. And later on, graduating students from McCaffrey celebrate their milestones.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Andrew Knowles, and thanks so much for joining us. Topping news on this Father's Day. The monitoring of visitors entering the country on private vessels has been working very well, according to Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar. On June 15th, the country entered the first phase in the phased reopening of the tourism sector, which allowed boaters, yachters, and private aircraft to enter the country.
That's working very well right now. So persons are arriving at the border, either on a private jet or on a private yacht. They're presenting their information to immigration. If immigration has questions, they refer to the health officials. But that system is working very well.
However, there is the issue of persons bypassing the immigration department to enter the country on private vessels. It's an issue that Immigration Minister Ellsworth Johnson says the Immigration Department is working in collaboration with other law enforcement agencies to address.
We would have advised anybody coming to our shores that it's mandatory that they get a COVID-19 testing, and that test should be negative in order to land in the Bahamas. And so we are extremely vigilant. We're working with our counterparts, the police, also the Defense Force, Customs. But most importantly, we're working with citizens, and I want to commend them for their level of discipline in letting us know when they think that there's a reasonable breach of the act.
When asked if the Immigration Department has sufficient manpower to address such an issue, Johnson said they depend on the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
We know our mandate, and the Act fully, and the authors of the Immigration Act fully appreciated 100,000 square miles of territory. And so I believe that's why they authorized the police all over the Bahamas, Customs, to assist in this stead. But we are fully prepared, fully capable to treat with it.
As debate on the 2020-2021 budget wraps up in the House of Assembly, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis will make his contribution tomorrow. The Prime Minister's report will begin at 10 a.m. The Bahamas condemns all forms of racism and believes that equal treatment is a human right founded in natural justice. That's the country's position on racism and human rights, as indicated in a statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It adds the Bahamas has joined consensus along with other countries of the United Nations Human Rights Council and the international community to convene an urgent debate on racism in light of recent events globally. On Friday, the international community, by way of a consensus, adopted a draft resolution to further promote and protect human rights and fundamental freedoms of Africans and people of African descent. Meantime, the Bahamas reaffirmed its commitment to eradicating racism and protecting civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights of all. Well, 3 months after the tourism sector was crippled by the COVID-19 pandemic, leaving thousands out of work, one water sports operator is eager to return to work. Berthany McDormand has that.
54-year-old Wade Riley has been out of work and in search of other means of providing for himself and his children since the shutdown of the tourism sector. As a result, he said it has been hard making ends meet, especially with the weekend lockdowns and curfews.
The country is locked down, there's no way people can hustle. Police on every corner. You can't hustle and make $1. And then you go to National Insurance. National Insurance give you a turnaround. You understand me? Sometimes they take forever to get your money. You understand me? It's been going through a long time.
The single father said it has also been increasingly difficult providing for his 3 children. This as he tries to give them what they've grown accustomed to despite being unemployed.
You got kids who are looking forward for what they used to. Meals on time, drinks on time. You understand me? And if this can't happen, it's chaos in everybody. Everybody. It even cause trouble. I mean, it ain't easy. You know, ain't nobody lending you nothing. The banks ain't lending you nothing. Everything shut down. You know what I mean? Some family members will give you a little helping hand here and then. But they can't do it all the time because nobody making no money.
With government's planned phased reopening just weeks away, a number of new protocols have been put in place to protect employees and guests. One of those protocols include a certification program to ensure employees practice the proper safety procedures when interacting with guests. Riley says he's looking forward to the reopening of borders, adding that he will take the necessary steps to ensure both he and guests are safe.
I'm looking forward to it because that's what I do. I've been doing this for years. Over 30 years I've been doing water sports. Okay? That's how I make my money. Safety concerns is make sure, wear your mask, sanitize yourself, and as long as, like I'm in the tourism industry, I have to sanitize for my guests too before they go onto my boat. Make sure everything is sanitized and everyone is properly secure. That's the most we can do.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks a lot, Berthany. Well, Acting Labor Director John Pinder said he's optimistic that the tourism industry will rebound. Nonetheless, he said the Bahamas must diversify. Jillian Gray has that.
Despite the major hit the tourism sector has taken from the COVID-19 pandemic, Acting Labor Director John Pinder said the Bahamas is still poised to make millions from that industry.
If we can get through a clear hurricane season, be in a very good position to attract thousands, millions of tourists, simply because some of our islands were not impacted. And those islands that were not impacted, the islands have some of the more beautiful beaches, the Exumas, the Lutras, San Salvador, those islands that people don't normally visit. We're going to have to start to see how we can put packages together.
Notwithstanding the positive outlook for the tourism industry, the Acting Labor Director said the Bahamas must develop more resilient industries, ones, he said, that can withstand hurricanes, pandemics, and other disasters.
We need more Bahamians to stop thinking about just sitting behind a desk, get out there, fish. There's plenty of money in that, Farming, we look at the amount of monies we spend importing food into this country. Find a couple of those items that you think you could farm, and those crops. You go then you farm a couple of crops. If you find that $5 million is spent on importing tomatoes, well, if you could tap into that, you make yourself $500,000 a year of their growing tomatoes, onions, cucumbers, whatever crops that we import a lot of.
Pinder added that the remote workplace brought on by the pandemic shows that there is a tremendous opportunity in the technology field.
So the country now is working from home. Most places are working online and doing it necessary. That's another large industry. You can be working in the Bahamas and your employer could be some in some other part of the world. There's a huge opportunity in there, And of course, there will always be areas where you have to fish for food. Where you have to export food. And so even with the exportation of food coming through the Bahamas, is a huge opportunity for us to get involved in that.
Reporting for Our News Weekend, I'm Jillian Gray.
In an effort to keep Grand Bahama clean, the Grand Bahama Port Authority is calling for residents in Grand Bahama to remove derelict vehicles from their yards. The Port Authority can remove the vehicles from an owner's property once an indemnity clause is signed. However, if the vehicle is on the verge and not removed by the owner, it may be destroyed at the owner's expense.
The inspectors of city management will place the yellow tag, which represents 7 days that the owner must remove that vehicle. If that does not occur, we will then follow up with a final notice of 21 days, and within that same period, the list of vehicles will be placed in the papers. If the owner fails to comply with the 21-day notice, those vehicles will be removed at the owner's cost as well as destroyed.
Deputy Director and City Manager at the Port Authority, Troy McIntosh, said they are aware that many of the storage facilities in New Providence are filled. However, people cannot simply move vehicles to inappropriate and unacceptable locations. A space is being cleared to accommodate the drop-off of vehicles. Director of Building and Development Services, Nikira Welshcombe, said residential mechanics should look to get those businesses regulated and out of neighborhoods.
We want to encourage our residents to call our customer relations department or our commercial department to speak with either Mr. Charles Pratt or Mrs. Nicole Colebrook and their representatives to try to legitimize their operations and to look for a proper location for these businesses to operate from.
Arawak vendors are questioning why bathrooms at the popular hangout are closed to children. Vice President of the Arawak Association, Lillian Smith, says it makes no sense since the fish fry caters to families.
We are being told that you have to be 18 years or older to use the bathroom. I have never heard that in my life. Yes, the country was locked down. The Prime Minister have opened the country since last week, Monday, and all families are able to go out and be out until 9 p.m. You should be in by 9 p.m. But they're telling us in the bathroom on Arawak that children up to age 18 cannot use the facilities.
Smith says she and other vendors are baffled by the decision.
I don't understand that. That is, I think it's ridiculous. It's not they're saying, the staff is saying that they're waiting on a letter. Who? What letter and from whom? Which office is responsible to open up this bathroom?
We're still ahead tonight. Worry over open borders for those with immune-compromised systems. Plus, graduating seniors from McCaffrey get their diplomas. Those stories and more coming up.
Happy Foods, Happy Foods, 242, 242, Happy Foods, 242, food galore just for you. Happy Foods, 242, food galore just for you. This ain't no talking show, it's an eating show. Sasha Laurel is the host of Happy Foods, 242, food galore just for you. Happy Foods, 242, food galore.
Next tonight, with the country's borders expected to reopen to international travelers in less than 2 weeks, there have been concerns about the possible spread of COVID-19. Head of the Bahamas Sickle Cell Association, Kayla Smith-Mortimer, says those fears are at the forefront of the minds of those with compromised immune systems. Jasmine Brown reports.
We're about to open up the borders, and then we see so much spikes right to our neighboring Florida, and so we still want our warriors and all of those persons who are afflicted with diseases to be on their P's and Q's and not take it lightly.
It's a worry that's simply not going away as the July 1st date looms. The reopening of the borders to tourists comes more than 3 months after they were closed in an effort to contain COVID-19. In his contribution to the budget debate on Wednesday, Tourism Minister Dionisio D. Aguilar announced that everyone entering the country will be required to have a negative COVID-19 test. A day later, he admitted the kinks have not been worked out. Smith-Mortimer, whose comments came on Sickle Cell Awareness Day, says those with compromised immune systems cannot help but to worry despite the fact that officials have said testing will be required to enter the country.
We're asking the authorities that when we have our international visitors, because we need them, but we also need to be safe and we also need to be well, that they make sure everybody is being responsible. So those who are at the borders, immigration, customs, the police officers, ensure that those persons, even the airlines, are doing what they have to do.
The Bahamas Sickle Cell Association president and her daughter both shared their stories with our news team days after the COVID-19 emergency order was enforced. At the time, both women who have been diagnosed with sickle cell said their way of life had changed as they sought to protect themselves. However, she says as the country has slowly reopened during the Minnis administration's phased plan, her family has also lifted some of their restrictive habits.
We try to find the right fit for us doing certain things, like going to the food store. That was such a challenge when the pandemic first started. And so that got a little bit easier in terms of the process of going to the food store. But it was still also challenging in the food store or surroundings because people see you and they don't know your disability kind of, or know that you have a disease that can cause issues, but you look well, but then you're still afraid. And so the panic attacks still happen once or twice, but We were good. Members understood what to do more because we spoke about it.
Now, with the global pandemic not going anywhere anytime soon, Smith Mortimer says those with compromised immune systems will have to adapt to the new normal. Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
19 seniors graduated from McCaffrey International Academy last week. Our Jared Higgs reports.
It wasn't your usual graduation ceremony, but the school says it exceeded expectations. McCaffrey International Academy hosting an outdoor graduation ceremony with social distancing. The valedictorian, Samia Heald, thanked the teachers, administrators, and parents for their support.
Thank you for pushing all of us to succeed. Thank you for helping us to work hard, and thank you for making our parents proud of us. There were numerous times when we felt like giving up. You motivated us, you guided us, you showed us how to survive and do well.
Heald's classmates each had a chance to speak at the student-led graduation. The mass graduates appearing happy despite the unusual circumstances. Their homeroom teacher and vice principal Lakeisha Ingram expressing her pride in them.
Awesome, self-driven, ambitious, and unique scholars before me today in this class of 2020. You have all worked hard through the difficult times, stayed focused when distractions were in abundance. You have motivated each other to keep moving forward, even when it may have been easier to just give up.
The Afrocentric School was established in 2011. Principal Rhonda Wright touched on the importance of the school's colors, red for the blood of God, yellow for discipline, and of course the seniors in green.
Our job is to plant the seeds for them, because it is through your love, your support, that of the Creator, as they join in prayer and discipline and solitude, that they will then become the strong, green trees that we know that we are all working to do our best to help them to become.
The school's founder, Dr. Jacinta Higgs, congratulated the graduates. She says despite school being closed since mid-March, the students' transcripts won't be affected.
Through the enlightenment of the universal educators and leaders, their transcript was able to be measured up until the day schools closed. And so now they all have transcripts that have been unblemished by the stay-home mandatory curfew.
The school says it hopes that due to its small size, it will be able to manage in the new normal and open its borders in September. Reporting for our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
When our News, the Weekend Edition, comes back from the break, a production company assists businesses with going digital. And later on, we take a look at the most memorable quotes of the week. So stay with us.
Rev is making it easier for you to complete all your lockdown errands in one trip. You can now pay your Rev bill at all participating Solomon's locations, including the Yamacraw, Old Trail, and Lucaya Freeport locations, effective Thursday, April 23rd, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and thereafter, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So shop for those much-needed groceries and pay your bill at the same time, all the convenience in one location. Cash payments accepted. Rev, you and us together.
A local production company has stepped out of the box with assisting businesses in going digital during the pandemic. The Movie Group has been known for bringing the visuals of major events to life, but when the COVID-19 pandemic struck, many companies were left wondering the next step. Movie Group President and CEO Burton Wallace says he and his team have helped businesses get creative in reaching their clients.
Instagram, Facebook, the traditional live stream if you want private links. We could fold it into your website. Wherever you need your content delivered electronically, the levels of privacy that you might need on it, the levels of interaction that you might want to have with it, we're able to deliver it all. We're having conversations now with TikTok and LinkedIn, and within the coming weeks, we feel confident that we'll be able to deliver content on those platforms as well. Unheard of, never done in the Bahamas to date.
Wallace said as they move forward, the most important thing right now is remaining safe.
All of our staff now exercise the use of proper PPEs. Anything that is exchanged and touched in our environment, we've folded in our own SOPs with sanitation processes. We have invested heavily into equipment that we could sanitize an entire area for a customer if that need arises. And we realized, you know, why are we just thinking internally? Everyone is going to have the same problem. How do I sanitize an environment? So that's a new area of business that we're exploring and building out at the moment. So it might be Moby/sanitation services.
Find out the most memorable quotes of the week. That's coming up when our news, the Weekend Edition, returns.
Do you need to make payments to your bill but need to do it via wire transfer? Well, it's simple to do with Rev. You can make domestic or international wire transfers to pay your bill. Simply go to my.rev.bs and sign into your My account. Next, scroll down to the bottom of the page and click Download on your bill. Information is provided at the bottom of the bill, such as what the SWIFT number would be if you or someone else is making an international payment. Stay connected with Rev. Anytime, anywhere.
As world markets reopen, now more than ever, people are looking for ways to improve their health, fitness, and overall well-being. Morning Moves is a daily exercise show hosted by the Bahamas Queen of Fitness, Bowflex Barbie, where viewers get to join and have fun and exciting workouts right from the privacy and comfort of their home. Each episode will also have a health and lifestyle segment to help viewers live healthier, more fulfilling lives. Morning Moves will be previewing on our TV channel 212 starting Monday, June 22nd through Friday, June 26th at 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. and Saturday, June 27th at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Be sure to tune in because there's nothing like it on local TV now, and we're giving you the opportunity to be a part of this new and exciting movement. Contact us today at 601-8198 or email mediasales@cablebahamas.com to learn how you can advertise or become a sponsor of the hottest new show in town, Morning Moves with Bowflex Barbie. The perfect way to start your day.
Finally tonight, it's that time when we take a look back at the most memorable moments of the week in news. In at number 3 is National Security Minister Marvin Dames, who shot back at former Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands, saying if the day comes where he disagrees with cabinet, he is prepared to resign.
Don't come here and say what you could have done or what should have been done. The question is when you had an opportunity to effect change, did you do it? And if you didn't, why?
Then there's this dramatic moment outside the magistrate's court on Wednesday, which landed an accused in more trouble. It comes in at number 2.
Relax, please. Relax, I got you. Relax.
But this announcement by the tourism minister requiring all visitors to the Bahamas to have a negative COVID-19 test when the country reopens takes the top spot for quote of the week.
As mentioned, we have opened the country to foreign visitors wishing to come here by private plane or pleasure craft or yacht. These persons will require a molecular swab, PCR COVID-19 test with a negative result to enter the country. Given the spike in the number of positive COVID tests in the United States and the uncertainty surrounding just how many cases will require the hospitalization, the government of the Bahamas has decided to maintain the current status quo until further notice. What we mean by that, Mr. Speaker, is that the government of the Bahamas, which now requires a COVID-19 test to enter the country up to July 1, will also require a COVID-19 test after July 1.